You had the premiere last night. How are you feeling?
Good.
A little tired.
I got really tired. I went home and I knocked out.
Yeah,
Really,
same.
for sure.
Me too.
That was such a great night. I had so much fun.
Were there any audience reactions that stood out to you? Let's start with AJ.
Yeah, I mean, hearing everyone cheer at the moment when Okarun got to be, edgy and cool in his transformed form was really neat. There's also a point that I actually forgot that we recorded where there was like I went from normally it's like his normal form into his transformed when I do the little like transition, but we did the opposite, transformed into the into him being normal and being like nerdy, and I forgot we did, and everyone thought that was funny, which I thought was great because that was the point. So yeah, it was really cool. It's always nice hearing live reactions.
Awesome. Alex?
Yeah, like AJ says, it was really cool to see what other people thought of it. Because whenever we're working on these shows, we're super self-critical about our work. And so sometimes, even though we're performing funny scenes or cool scenes, we're not really able to enjoy or kind of watch it in the moment and laugh at it, stuff like that. Because like we could be doing something really funny and then we'd just be like, okay, was that funny? Yeah. So it was really cool to kind of step outside of that for a moment and get to enjoy it with the rest of the audience, like like a regular fan. And again, I did not really get to see a lot of reactions to my performances from the 2 episodes back in season 1, and I was really surprised when they showed some of that stuff because I was super proud of the scenes that AJ and I did together at the end of episode 12. So I was surprised when they showed it off in the movie, and we got a really good audience reaction. The crowd was great, and I was like, "Wow, I guess we were funny, AJ."
Mm-hmm. It was good.
Nice. And Abby, any audience reactions that stood out to you?
Yeah, I loved how hard they were rooting for Okarun every time, especially when he shows up initially to stop Jiji from attacking Momo. Everyone just went nuts, and I loved it. Also, again, with the humor, anytime everyone laughed at Momo, I was like, yes, we hit it. But yeah, it was a whole different experience to be there with the live audience, and it was awesome.
Nice. Now, Don Don features ghost stories and urban legends. What is your favorite ghost story or urban legend from within the show or real life? Alex?
Let's see. I've talked about this before, but I would enjoy seeing Mothman from real life, as in like
Ooh.
Mothman actually is real. Mothman from real life. But I feel like Danadon in the manga has actually done a lot of very more so recent urban legends or conspiracies or so. I saw that there was one chapter where they had like a scary face from actually an internet thing,
Yeah.
like a kind of like not creature, a guy that was popularized by the internet, but he's kind of like a cryptid type of guy that's like in a sense it's like one of those horror memes, right? And I was very surprised to see that in the manga. So my hopes are that there's even more of that stuff, not only from like regular well-known folklore, but more of the newer stuff. I don't know, like Slender Man.
Yeah.
That'd be
Ooh, right.
see, even though it's
It,
it's relatively more recent, I say
mm,
it's like over 10 years ago
Right,
at this
right.
point.
It's like
It feels recent
20
to
years
me.
ago.
well, yeah, sure, not 500 something years old. AJ, what about you?
I don't know. I'm not honestly well versed in like ghosts and cryptids and stuff, but I do know. I've been saying like if I had to pick like a monster or a cryptid or something to be included, Bigfoot, I think is just a really funny. I don't know. The name Bigfoot is funny to me, but I imagine not actually like a big giant like man that looks like a gorilla, but like a giant foot that's really hairy. I think that would fit well in Don that they have to run away from because they run away from everything. Yeah, but as far as like in the story already, I think Turbo Granny, like the story of Turbo Granny is just really interesting, and it is really cool seeing other cultures their own like history, ghost history, yokais in this case. And getting to learn more about what that entails, and it's made me want to do more research into Japanese like folklore.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool and super creepy to see like a Wendigo or weredeer. Like that image in my brain is so scary that I think with like science or animation, it could be truly horrific. So I'll go with that.
Now, all of your characters have to overcome obstacles within the show and with the new film. What motivates you in real life when you face obstacles? AJ?
Spite. No, it's I mean, not no, yes, spite, but also it's just the idea that like I feel like we all have we have all the tools and the abilities to overcome things. And I think the only time when you can't realistically, unless you have some sort of, physical disability or something stopping you, is like your own willpower to, I guess, keep trying and ask for help and reach out to the contacts that you have, is kind of separate. But in regards to like whenever people come to us to conventions and they say, oh, what do I do? How do I get an agent, or how do I do this? I'm like, have you sent any emails? And people usually say no. And I think a lot of people are afraid to do things if it's not perfect. And I think obstacles are necessary in life. I feel like you can't really achieve anything without obstacles. And I do think getting through them is a skill. And I don't know, that I just keep trying. I guess that's the only thing you really can do.
Abby?
I think like AJ, determination, hard work, and patience are things that my parents taught me, and that's kind of what gets me through anything. You just have to play the long game sometimes, and you never know what life is gonna throw at you, and sometimes it's just a matter of being patient and not giving up.
Aleks?
I kind of partially agree, but I also want to reframe what you're saying, AJ, that spite, while it is
Spite.
it is good.
It's powerful.
It's powerful, but it's also, and I've told you, like we've talked about this before,
Yeah.
with each other, is that spite is very powerful, but it also works like a poison, right? You get enough of it on your blade, you can take down any enemies, but the more you use it, the more you're exposing yourself to that poison, right? So, I mean, when I started out, that was my main motivator, but I noticed that the more I kept relying on it, the more jaded it made me.
Yeah.
And the more jaded I got, the more I became an asshole. Basically, I was always skeptical of everybody. And when you operate like that, it's just not good for you, because you deprive yourself of meaningful friendships, meaningful relationships, meaningful opportunities, because in your head, everything is so dark and grim that you're like, there's no way these people have good intentions.
Yeah.
Even like AJ said, even when people do want to help you, they have like other people that you can rely on. If you poison yourself a little bit too much, it becomes difficult for you all around. So while spite is a really good tool, I feel like you need to limit your usage of that. Sure, it can only take you so far. So what I would say is more so foresight. It has been my biggest tool in everything.
You can see the future?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
crazy.
I got 5 sights.
Equalize
Yeah.
crazy.
Foresight is great because if you understand your environment, and part of what drives foresight is self-awareness. And if you understand yourself, if you understand your limitations, your capabilities, and you understand everything else around you, you have this extra ability to also see what's coming, right?
Yeah.
And if you know what's coming, you can prepare yourself for a bunch of different scenarios. Or you can be like a crazy person like me and start to plan everything out months and years ahead.
Yeah.
And then just start checking those boxes as you go down the line.
Yeah.
And it's like Abby said, it's a slow burn. But if you have self-awareness to know what you're doing, when you're doing it, and also foresight to know where it's all going, and the perseverance and determination and motivation to keep going despite your plans falling apart or this and that, I think with enough luck and bullshitting, you can basically get yourself to where you need to be.
Yeah. And I know you don't have much time, but I just want to add to kind of what Aleks said is I remember learning from somebody that's much more experienced from us, actually Richard Horvitz. He I took a class once when I was first starting out, and he had this whole thing where he was just like, people have these big dreams and big goals. I want to win an award. I want to do something. But the best thing to do is to take that bigger goal and just like keep breaking it down into really tiny steps. And if the tiniest step is spend an hour a day reading out loud, it's really achievable. You can do it and it doesn't feel like you're failing at any point because the goals are so achievable, and eventually it adds up and you might end up reaching that bigger goal a lot sooner than you thought because you're always making progress. And the second I did that, like I think a week later, 2 weeks later, I got my first agent and everything like that. It was you just break your goals up. So yeah.
Awesome. Excellent advice all around. But real quick, last question. What would you like to tell the fans? Whoever wants to go first.
Don, Evil Eye, in theaters June 5th or 6th.
June 6th.
June 6th. Don, Evil Eye, in theaters June 6th.
Yeah.
Take it from this guy. He can see the future.
I can hear the future.
One of them's right.
What we got?
Awesome.
Yeah. And just thank you for watching and thank you for supporting the show. I feel like we're really lucky. So
Yeah, we're thriving off the vibing. So thank you for supporting.
Great. Well, thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you
Thank you
so much.